his support.
Well, welcome back, guys, to another Mr. Adventures trip. A little bit of a different dynamic on this one. We got there's no big hill climbs, but there's no clay or stones either. Just plenty of tree roots and plenty of deep talc-like sand. Ricky came to my house this morning about 7:30 as usual, on time, and we decided to head north as the crow flies from where I live, and trying to stay off as many tracks or trails as possible. Turned out to be pretty challenging, as you'll see. My son brought a bike along, his new one, and his mate on a beater as well. They decided to do some of the deep sandy trails, so we let them to it. However, a bit later on we did have to go and rescue them, and we had a few problems of our own. Unfortunately, there's not great footage of the GoPro of that. Ran out of battery by the time we got there, but this will give you an idea of the day anyway. Here's Ricky trying to determine where we're heading. As usual, I just say crow flies north, and that's it. Whether it's a good idea, I don't know, but at least we won't have to do any U-turns. North and south is pretty good, and I'm sure Ricky knows the difference. We have got a fall on video this week. Well, it's more a lay down than a fall. The Ricky of all people laid his bike down. I could not believe it. However, I laid mine down about 3 or 4 times. It's not on video, so but don't tell anyone, will you?
That way, as the crow flies, sir.
Here's my stupid voice again. I got to sort a proper mic out as well. Ricky kicking a bit of dust. He took a crazy line on this. There was a big hollow before the log on the front, and he seemed to aim for the hollow. And he had a bit of a problem getting over it, certainly popping the front wheel from where he was, but he managed it. So I decided to use my head instead of my very, very limited bike skills. And cruised over the log with a bit of a kicker on the left hand side. Can't really pick up much of a pace here. There's it looks like there's good ground, good traction, but underneath their needles is like powder sand, crazy. And if you go too fast and hit a submerged root or one of the stumps, there's you're going down. There's no two ways about it. Happened to me about 2 months ago on this trail. We were going through the forestry in between what looked clear. I was sat on about 40-45 k's an hour, and all of a sudden something just kicked my front wheel, just literally locked the bars, and over I went. I ended up on the deck about, I don't know, 20 yards from where my bike lay. It's the only time I've really fallen off a bike. Oh dear, look at that, this is the time, look at that, Ricky's down. Well, it's a first for everything, isn't it? I should take the piss a bit more, because Ricky does every time I drop the bike, and I drop the bike a lot more than he does.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, it kicked off later that my son's mate on the beater, 390, brand new 390, snapped the chain. So they're stuck in the middle of nowhere. They contact me a bit later in this video to go and rescue them. On the way over to rescuing them, they had Ricky had a front tyre puncture, and it was in an open plain with no shade, so that wasn't very helpful. I left him there yeah, and then I proceeded over to where Lewis was. When I got there, it turned out it wasn't too much of a drama, so I headed straight back to Ricky to help him on the tyre. As I'm sat on the floor with the front wheel, Ricky decided to help me and lift a bit of weight off the bike and push the bike on me. Thanks for that, Rick. Yeah, he bent the bars, so you had to straighten them out a bit. It often happens, certainly when these bikes ain't light, you know. It's Ricky just discussing it.
The legend that is Rick. Legend. I'm pretty sure you've come up that boat twice. Yeah, good. How many times have
I missed the first one.
Well, you two, me one. And the one that I come off, I was laughing at him and I dropped the bike as I was getting off, just for the record. Worse than anything else. So, hang on, but I was all confused with my fucking phone.
Back in the woods. I assure you guys, my video skills will get better once I get a mic and proper mic, and my GoPro's that old. You don't charge it with the PowerPoint. You just put coal in the back. It's nice to do something like this, not whipping around at 100 miles an hour all the time and going up the real heavy climbs up in the hills. It's nice just to do some slow technical stuff for the change. And these logs are a lot bigger than the GoPro dictates. Honest. I think that's going to be in every video I post, isn't it? For these sandy trails, there's two reasons we keep off them. You see us riding on the side, and I don't know whether the camera picks it up, but it literally is like talc. Certainly midsummer, dries out. Not much rain recently, so it gets that powdery. I mean, there is an occasion, I can't remember whether I filmed it when I lost momentum. I just come to a standstill, and even just to get going is crazy. In fact, I think this is it by here. I try and put all my weight on the back tyre just to get enough momentum before I can stand up. But normally you just stand straight on pegs and go for it, but it's that hard. You've got to be going, 4 or 5 k's an hour before you even get on the pegs, otherwise you're down. That's my excuse anyway. I might just be a shit rider. When we get a nice trail like this, it's obviously the speed helps a lot. We can build up a bit of speed. These bikes are kitted out too. We're both riding DR650s with countless accessories on. I know mine's probably about 160, 165 kg dry. Bear in mind I've got a 30 litre tank that's always about half full. Plus there's my big fat 100 kilos on it as well. It makes for an interesting ride. My son-in-law, who was one of the guys we went out to rescue today, he rides a 390 Beta, and he's an experienced motocross rider, and what he can do with that bike is amazing, man. But then when he tried to lift mine up last week in and out the sand and God knows what. He was amazed that I take it where I do, because I don't think he's ever ridden or certainly tried to lift up a heavy bike like this before. You see it now, it does make it a bit easier in the sand, just you shit yourself a bit more. This is it, guys, coming to the end now. Well, thanks for joining me yet again. Like, subscribe, do you likes, all free. And until the next time, man, let's stay upright, guys, and enjoy your riding.